Good evening, folks. Good evening, one and all. And good evening to my cohort in crime, Mr. Al Forte. How are you today, Al?
Good evening, guys. Just sipping a little bit on a little bit of soda here. Just just enjoying. Going to enjoy my.
That looks like a big Coke bottle with a 7-Up across it. I'm having my usual Diet Coke here, as in my Chad Cup mug. It's not see-through, but oh well. And our subject of the day, for all you guys out there in audio land or in video land here, we'll wait till it populates a little bit. But our subject for tonight is, of course, the Cola Wars and pretty much everything having to do with sodas of the 70s and 80s. And welcome again to the Retro Podcast. Guys in their 50s and 60s talking about the 70s and 80s. And we're quite fond of doing so. Old guys in their 50s and 60s talking about the 70s and 80s. So good evening, one and all. Let me see if I pop in a little some information on my information screen. So let's see.
As I like to say, two old guys in their 50s and 60s talking about the 70s and 80s.
Yep. So let's talk about a few. Well, first of all, let's talk about a few little sodas that came out in the 70s and 80s. Things like Mountain Dew. Do you guys remember when there wasn't a Mountain Dew? Al?
I don't not remember when there wasn't a Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
but if it came out in the 80s, because I think that's what you just said.
Yeah, 70s or 80s or 80s, yeah.
Then I have to say I don't remember.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of these sodas have always existed. Yeah. But and likewise, it seems like other sodas like Royal Crown,
RC, yes,
RC, Royal Crown have been here forever, and they practically have. But now here's another one for you. Do you remember when Royal Crown switched their logo to RC?
That was I think in the 80s, was it not?
I believe so. I mean,
I kind of remember that. Yes, because I used to call it Royal Crown Cola when I used to drink it all the time, and then it went to RC. Yes, yeah. And by the way, Mountain Dew was invented in 1940.
1940? Wow, I never would have thought about that. I never
by PepsiCo, which a lot of different sodas are made by Coca-Cola or PepsiCo. I mean, it seems like, it's one company or the other. Now, yeah, there's other companies, but it always blows my mind who actually makes these different drinks.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, no. It is absolutely amazing. And in fact, most of these sodas, like, we're talking about the sodas where today's subject for the most part is the sodas we remember, because I mean, they have been around since before, and most of them are around now. But we're talking about nostalgia from the 70s and 80s. So let me ask you this. Do you still remember the Dr. Pepper commercial? The famous, I was going to say infamous, but no, the famous
Let me go off like Hobby. I'm a pepper, you're a pepper.
She's a pepper. Yeah. We're part of an original crowd. We're something, and we're proud.
Yeah.
Something along these days. There seems to be a Dr. Pepper craze. I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper. If you drink Dr. Pepper, you're a pepper too. Be a pepper, drink Dr. Pepper. Oh yeah, be a no. That was
you could do it.
I still remember the guy with the long hair. He's walking, and there's this monstrous crowd of people, all completely. I mean, this is pre Michael Jackson Thriller. I mean, they're all doing this fantastic dance in the streets of what I assume to be New York, but or one of these large cities. But it was fantastic having all these peppers out there.
You
And
know, I don't know where it falls in the timeline, but I have to bring this up, and I know that Alex is related in some way, right, to you, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So therefore,
and I know what you're going to say. Go
I
ahead.
know where the ancestry is here. So
Yeah.
therefore, I know that Materva and Iombed, okay?
In other words, for those of you who need translation, Materva and Iron Beer. The funny part is, as a kid, so I got some memories to share. So, as a kid, there was this club down in Florida, down in Miami, called the Big Five Club. It's actually, for those of you who don't know, I'm missing half a finger. It happened in an accident in the Big Five Club years ago. And we're talking 1976 is when it happened. But during that time, and even prior, my mom used to love. She's a big socialite, and she used to love socializing. And this was a club for well-to-do, the Cubans of the 60s and 70s, like for those of you the Ricky Ricardos, the ones that came in. It wasn't just big band business owners, they were owners of industry here in Miami. I mean, big industry. There was a very big separation. I'm not saying it's good or bad, or I'm not saying one way or the other, but Cuba of the 50s and 60s, at least, I could be wrong, but it seemed to be, while the Cubans of that era say, oh, no, it was all middle class, it seemed to be either high class, rich people, or upper middle class, and basically, the poor. The poor didn't go anywhere, but the high class traveled back and forth to Miami, and they did a lot of business, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, the clubs, during the 60s, the inhabitants or the immigrants into Miami were mostly, and again, I'm generalizing, but mostly very well-to-do Cubans, and obviously escaping political exile. Well, they formed clubs, and there was the Big Five Club was one of those well-to-do clubs. It was, from my recollection, because again, I was maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, and my mom used to go to the club, and kids were not allowed in the actual clubhouse. We had the run of the place. I mean, it was acres and acres of baseball fields, racquetball, polo, soccer, handball, pools for swimming, gun range. I mean, there was everything. Well, obviously, the gun range wasn't for the kids, but there was everything from
five-star restaurant.
Five-star restaurant, Now, I was, being the spoiled brat that I was, it was fantastic. I would go up to the cashier, and I have whatever I want, and I loved croquetas, and I would have nothing but croquetas and bread and Iron Beer and Materva, and Iron Beer mostly, and put it on the account. What's your last name? They knew me. They didn't even I didn't have to sign. I didn't nothing. Just let me have this thing. I even knew the ladies' names. I don't remember them, but and so those were my earliest memories of Iron Beer. I mean, I was a big Coca-Cola guy. I mean, now it's all ever since 1988, and I'll tell you that story soon. It was Diet Coke, but pre-1988, it was Coke, Coke, Coke. That's it. It was Coca-Cola, regular, sugary Coca-Cola, and but before those days, it was, I mean, while at the club, any soda would work. I was a little kid, and it was iron beer was my favorite drink back then. And my brother loved Materva, which is in Spanish it's
Isn't it
yerba de mate, which
Isn't it
is
a root?
it's a root. It's a root drink. It's like a root beer, but it's a particular root drink from the yate root. Whatever that root might be, I'm not sure of the translation, but actually, it's on the. I'm sorry, not yate, mate, mate, yerba de mate, which I have no idea. Yeah, it's what?
It's meta based. Yes.
It's meta,
yes.
yeah, mate based. And so I have no idea again what this is, but if you guys ever come across the drink Materva, it's everywhere in Miami, and it's in a lot of Latin restaurants, Latin groceries. Have a drink. I mean, it's a good, interesting tasting soda. It's carbonated, and it's sweet, and it's wonderful. Well, anyway, iron beer is, I don't know, I guess the closest thing I could akin that to is to like a Mr. Pibb kind of thing. I mean, wouldn't you say it was?
Yeah.
Not exactly, but what's that?
I was going to say Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, it's more like Dr. Pepper. Yeah, it's more like Dr. Pepper.
And actually, it's been around since 1917. That's how far back it goes.
Incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely
it's incredible. It's a fruitier Dr. Pepper. It's
yeah. And that blasted fence took my cousin's fence. It wasn't a fence; it was a slide, and it was a ring. It wasn't a ring. But he's just throwing comments out there just to be fun. So I'm telling you, it was an interesting young life I had. I remember vividly prior to the new renovation of the clubhouse, which happened early 70s. We used to have, there was no clubhouse in the Big Five Club. There was a clubhouse, but it was a small building, a very, very small building. And I mean, if you guys just remember in fact, I don't know, I think it's still around, but I haven't been there in ages. Rowing was another thing that they had there, because they had the 8th Street Canal was all.
Were you talking about Big Five?
Big Five.
Big Five. In fact, you can get a membership for $125 a month to Big Five still.
Oh, there you go.
They're celebrating like their 50th anniversary.
Yeah. So whatever the equivalent was of $125 a month, that's pretty much what my parents would pay for the family. And my mom would just sit and gab all day. My dad worked general contractor. My mom would take us to the club, and we'd hang out at the club most of the time. My brother and I were enrolled in baseball there when we were young, in basketball. Baseball and basketball, and it was lots of memories of that time. But one of the fondest memories I have is in the clubhouse, the first clubhouse, before the clubhouse, in the little green building. I must have been 7 years old. My brother and I would go there, and we want a soda. We'd ask my mom for a bunch of quarters, and that's where the vending machine had. They didn't have Coca-Cola. They didn't have Pepsi. They had Materva and iron beer. Materva and Iromber. I don't know why they call it Iromber, because it clearly says iron beer with two E's, but Iromber was the thing, And anyway, so those were great times, in my youth. I mean, all we would do is just run around the and play. I mean, complete carefree days in our youth. And then so speaking of not having Coke or Pepsi, that segues us to the wonderful Coca-Cola Wars.
The Cola Wars.
Cola Wars. Let me. I'm not going to bring it down, but I have a poster that my brother-in-law painted a poster. He's a he's masters in art education. He's an art teacher, and my brother-in-law he painted this poster of the Cola Wars, and it shows like abstract the battlefield with Coke and Pepsi just all crushed and damaged and stuff. I fell in love with it and stuff. He let me have it, and later he said he wanted it. I said no, you let me have it. It's mine now. I love this painting. This, so I keep it hung here. One of these days I'll show you guys. But anyway, the Cola Wars was rather interesting time for those of us in the 70s and 80s. It was a tragic time for those of us who love and have always loved Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Oh, it was devastating for me.
Like I said, this is pre-1988, and pre-1988, all I drank, I did drink water back then. I don't now. I did drink water back then. I mean, I'm dead serious. I do not drink water these days. I did drink water and regular Coke.
Those were my post Air Force days, and this is a bit of a confession. It was beer back then, and Coca-Cola, and
no water,
and rum. Of course, got to have rum, right?
Gotta have rum.
Cuba Libre, yes.
So yeah. Dirty Knob says, "Remember Pepsi Clear?" Oh yeah, yeah. We remember Pepsi Clear. It was and oh my God, there was just I mean, there's so many. There was Tab. Who can forget Tab?
Yeah, Diet Pepsi,
and they still have it.
Pepsi Max, Pepsi Zero Sugar, Pepsi Next, Pepsi Next. True. Oh.
But the infamous of all drinks, New Coke. Oh yeah. My God.
Yeah.
That's the worst. And everybody said, I remember in high school, because it happened during the early 80s. I remember vividly in high school, the gossip was Coca-Cola was wanting to imitate Pepsi.
Yeah, wanting to taste just like Pepsi.
Yep.
And honestly, that's when I stopped drinking Coca-Cola and went to 7-Up and Dr. Pepper.
I had a difficult time of it. Because, well, luckily, thank goodness, at least Coca-Cola, they said new Coke, and that only lasted, I want to say, I could be wrong, and Wikipedia'd it, but I mean, look it up, but Google it, but I could be wrong, but from my recollection, it only lasted about a month or less than a month.
April 85.
I'm saying before it might have been continuous, but I remember
to July 85.
Trying New Coke, hating New Coke, and then it only lasted a month before they put Classic Coke on the market. And then they had two Cokes.
Mm-hmm.
They had Classic Coke and they had New Coke. And thank God, because all I drank was Classic Coke. And it seems I'm not the only one. Billions, if not millions of people, millions, if not billions of people did the same thing. And that's why they just ditched New Coke. The gossip in school, Al, was New Coke they were trying to be like Pepsi.
Yes.
And that's all I remember about those times. Yes. And I'll tell you about a report that I was asked, directed to do by my teacher. Tell me, go ahead, what you were going to say.
I just want to interject just real quick. It did not, because like I said, I drank Coke. They switched to New Coke. They tried to go back to Classic Coke. It did not taste like the original Coke. And the original Coke that I tasted back in the 70s. When I'm in Mexico, I taste that original Coke. I don't know so much now, but there for a while back. The move back was not, in my opinion.
Well, I have to disagree, because Classic Coke was Classic Coke. I mean,
my taste buds, they must have gotten
shifted. Yeah,
they must have. Yeah, because it did not taste like the move back.
it was nasty. It was absolutely. Now here's the thing. A funny thing about. Well, I'll get to that in a second, but I'll make one quick comment about Mexico. Um, I went to Mexico in the, I want to say, the 2000s, and they don't have Diet Coke over there. And in a lot of countries, they don't have Diet Coke. What they have is Coke Light. Um, Coke Light, which Coke Light for Mexico is Diet Coke. I mean, it
So
is
so it's coquite.
Coke Light. Yes, something like that. Yeah, they have Coke Light, and they, would you like a Coke or a Coke Light? That's what they. Well, Coke Light is the same exact. I was gonna say I don't have a can. No, I've got 7 cases of Diet Coke, but they're out of arm's
7
reach.
cases, but
You know,
none here.
but I got them. I got them within, not within arm's reach, but on the other end of the. I got 25 feet away, but I've got my soda. So what happens is same color scheme. It's the white and red back then. Now it's the silver and red. But
Right.
Coke Light still does not taste like Diet Coke. They say it's the equivalent to it. It's not. There's something royally different about it. But oddly enough, I guess because of the caffeine, and after being in Mexico we spent a few days there, a cruise and stuff. It was like a week or two. And because I drink so much of it in about 3 or 4 days, it was bearable for me. But not I'm not. I wasn't happy with that one. But I'll tell you one thing about the Cola Wars. During the Cola Wars, I was asked, as a result of the Cola Wars, I guess it was a big topic of the day. And I believe it was my English class. In my English class, I was asked to do a report. I mean, well, we were asked to do a report on a topical subject. And I don't remember whether it was given to me or whether I chose it, but I did a report on Coke versus Pepsi. And I did a major research and all this. And no, come to think of it, you know what? It was in college that I did this. It was for an English 1101 class or something like that, because this happened post 84. One of the I did the whole report, and one of the things that I did in the report was that I used the song Eric Clapton's "Cocaine" for because as most of you know, Coca-Cola originally had cocoa leaves. It was cocaine in I mean, very very short time. It's not like it was like I
And it
think
was medicine,
I
wasn't it?
think it came out in 1890. When did Coke come out? I looked that up. 1896 or 1894, something, or maybe even earlier. But it I think
1886.
1886. That was
Yeah.
it. And then the
Yeah.
cocoa was out by 1905.
Yeah, it was John Pemberton that sold the first glass of Coca-Cola at Jacob's Pharmacy.
Yep.
That's what it was.
And Pepsi came out like 4 or 5 years later in 94, I think it was 1894 or something like that. Pepsi. Well, anyway, regardless, I did some major research, and this fact will interest you. Back, at least when I was doing research back then, while it was Cola Wars here, and while the reported reason for Coca-Cola switching their formula was because they were losing market share to Pepsi, and others. And while here in the States, or at least it looked like, certainly in all the grocery stores, it looked like Coke and Pepsi were neck and neck, were even. You choose one or you choose the other. You choose one or you choose the other. I did the research, and in 1984, Coca-Cola the Coca-Cola company outsold Pepsi. Actually, Coca-Cola, let's just go by the two drinks, Coke and Pepsi. Coke outsold Pepsi 9-1. 9-1.
That's a
That
lot.
that is a lot. And
Mhm.
the reason for this is we're talking about international sales as well. I mean, there are certain countries here. Here's a fun fact for you guys. Israel sells Coke, and now I forgot which country. They were opposite Israel, and
Saudi Arabia?
it might have been Saudi Arabia. One of them sold only Pepsi because Israel sold Coke, and it was it was funny because certain countries it's a very
Yeah.
political world out there.
So in the Saturday night skits, does that have anything to do with why John Belushi says no Coke, Pepsi, Pepsi, Pepsi?
That was a big
Yeah.
that because that was a big thing back in the 70's.
Hmm.
Here's the thing: Coca-Cola has usually again I may be biased because I like Coke, but Coca-Cola has usually been the market leader taste wise. Although I will say this: with if I had to choose between Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi, I would never, ever, I never, not to this day, when people ask me, oh, we don't have Diet Coke, we have Diet Pepsi. That's about the only time you will see me either switch to a tea like Lipton or to water. There's no way in hell I will drink that swill.
What diet?
However, Diet Pepsi. However, the true is not it's not the same is not to be said about Pepsi. If somebody says I don't have Coke, I have Pepsi, I'll drink a Pepsi because in my youth I remember the glass. There's nothing like drinking it out of a glass or out of a bottle. Nothing beats drinking Coke out of a bottle. Pepsi, similarly. The now I just got used to the non-sugary drinks so much that the others taste like syrup to me. But there was a time where I would drink either one, and Pepsi was fine with me. Diet Pepsi, never, never, ever, ever. It gives me it gives me acid in my stomach, and it's a horrible taste, and the aftertaste. Well, anyway, don't get me started on that. But
I can't remember when I drank Diet Pepsi, to be honest.
hmm?
I cannot remember drinking ever a Diet Pepsi.
I cannot stand Diet Pepsi. It's horrible. It's horrible. But Diet Coke, I mean, I don't know what they did with that thing, but I am, well, admittedly addicted for years. 1988 is when it happened. Speaking of the 70's and 80's, in 1988, I was oddly enough, I was no, I'd weighed most of my life. I've weighed about 160 pounds, and I'm 5'6", 5'7", 5'7". So I weighed 160. It was, I mean, I was always a lean kid. And then 5 years after high school, all of a sudden I saw myself getting a little bit. By the way, for reference, guys, I'm weighing 260 right now.
So I just want to say, Javi, I'm sorry, it's not the Pepsi. It's the cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger, no Pepsi, Coke.
Cheeseburger.
I mean, no Coke, Pepsi. Yeah, and I'll finish that statement in a second. So I was all of a sudden found myself gaining weight, and I decided to go on this, massive diet. And I thought that the best thing, for a diet, I read all these studies about sugar and all this. Well, here's what happened. I went from Coca-Cola in 1988. Cherry Coke came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you could always order a cherry Coke, but not cherry Coke. Like
Right.
You saw cherry Coke. Folks, remember cherry Coke? Well, I remember it vividly. I remember being with all my friends on Miami Beach, and airplanes would come by the shore, and one of these promotional airplanes dropped into the shore. Some landed in the water, some didn't. These compressed sponges that looked like a little Coca-Cola bottle with cherry Coke on it. And it was the coolest thing in the world. It would hit the water and it would inflate to like 3 or 4 times its size. And it was really, really cool. Well, anyway, so I tried. It was an effective campaign because because I started drinking cherry Coke. For 2 years, I drank nothing but cherry Coke. I was addicted to cherry Coke. But then it got to the point where then I saw myself gaining weight because before it was Coke and water, before 88. From 88 to 90, it was only cherry Coke. I was that, and well, it had an effect, and I decided to go to Diet Coke. Now, obviously, there were other factors. I did eat more, so I mean, it wasn't just
cheeseburger.
It wasn't only the soda, and I exercised less. So yeah, I mean, come on. I'm in my late 20s now, and okay. So what happens? What happens is in Diet Coke, I forced myself to drink Diet Coke. I forced myself to drink it for 2 weeks. And lo and behold, that aftertaste in the beginning was the worst taste that I ever. I mean, that NutraSweet. First of all, I could never take stomach the taste of saccharin and tap. That sucked.
Yeah, I couldn't.
But the NutraSweet, when it came out, and the Diet Coke. When did Diet Coke come out, by the way? And when the NutraSweet, I mean, years later, I started drinking it, and it took 2 weeks for me to get used to it. But once I got used to it, all of a sudden, the times I drank regular Coke tasted syrupy. And not only did I get used to it, but now it's to the point where it's perfect. It's the perfect sweetness. But anyway.
Yeah, Diet Coke came out in 1982, and Tab came out in 1963. So that was prior as far as.
So 82. Yeah, the monthly property. Yeah, Alex saying the monthly property projects are helping with the 260. Yeah, when I start the house, folks, guaranteed I'm going to be dropping some major weight, because if I don't, well, first of all, it's a catch-22 situation.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't drop the weight, I can't finish the house, and I'm doing it all myself. And if I do it all myself, I am bound to lose weight because there's no other way around it. It's called major exercise, and that's coming. That's coming. So toast Coke. Jim Bashir says, all I know is Coke tastes better in Juarez than in the USA.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying earlier. Mexican Coke to me tastes differently. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it to me. To Jim, too, maybe.
Maybe it does. Maybe it does. I mean, I haven't drunk regular Coke. I mean, obviously, when they don't have Diet Coke, when the soda machine's out or something, I guarantee you, I mean, whatever Burger King or McDonald's or other restaurant, other fast food joint or restaurant has an issue. See, they know they got to keep up with the sodas. That's because it's not just, oh, well, if we don't have soda, no biggie, they'll drink something else. It doesn't work that way.
No.
We have gotten spoiled and accustomed to it. I certainly have, to the point that I will complain and have to Burger King managers. To the corporate, to McDonald's corporate, and to Coca-Cola about a particular store, even a particular manager in the store, if I don't get my way, And here's the thing. One thing I've been in business. Well, I am in business, and I know, look, I treat my customers incredibly well, and I know how the game is played. When a customer has a complaint, for instance, one of my painters does something wrong, and then Miguel says that Miguel, my other cousin on the other side, Miguel says Mexico uses real cane sugar in Coke. That's likely it. That's likely one of the reasons.
It likely is.
It's better, yeah.
There's a certain taste to it. There's a certain effervescence. There's a certain it burns down your throat differently.
Yeah.
Is the way I taste it differently.
What I was saying about businesses and the employees, and this is something I'll share with everybody who doesn't know this, but the when you're in business, you realize this as a business owner. One and any business coaching course will tell you one bad review it is worth 5 good reviews. I mean, all it takes is one bad review, and that could really knock you down a few pegs. And you could lose the business of one bad review will lose you 5 customers, whereas one good review will maybe 5 good reviews will gain you 1 customer.
Yeah.
That's it's often been said in business. Likewise, people do everything to avoid bad reviews. I know I do in my company. Now, obviously, it's got to be reasonable. If somebody, for instance, I had a painter once on a job that was sitting around all day long, and he was smoking. He was smoking a pack of cigarettes, and I don't. They can smoke if they want on breaks and stuff, but this guy was his entire task was to paint an exterior cement or stucco door frame, a big intricate door frame, but that's it. I mean, it would have taken me an hour. He was a new guy. I expected would have taken him a couple hours, so I gave him the couple hours. I got back. Not only was he not done, not only was he had paint all over his hands down the brush and stuff, which I could forgive if he had the job done, but cigarette butts all over the ladies' patio. No. I mean, let's put it this way: it was his first and his last day, but the lady complained about him. And if I would have fought to give him another chance, that killed it. And I'm telling you, what people say has an effect. So if anybody, and that's a little side note. Again, another segue, as I always get off on. But getting back to the tastes of Diet Coke or regular Coke and Pepsi, and Alex makes a fantastic point: fountain versus can versus bottle.
Yes, that's the other aspect to it. Yes, the sweetener, the cane sugar, and the high fructose corn syrup, and that it's in bottles in Mexico and it's in cans and plastic here, and that I think that affects it, and definitely the syrup.
My wife is the one who does the shopping in the house, not because I can't shop, but I guess because I can't shop, and I don't mean I am unable to shop. I mean I am incapable of finding a good buy. Like my wife, I just buy the Coca-Cola. A 12-pack is $6. Okay, it's right here. Boom. No. That's sacrilege. If she doesn't find 4 for $9, that it's not getting purchased. So she's fantastic that way. Well, in many ways, but there's one rule that I will give her, and is don't buy the 2-liter bottles.
Is this 2 liter?
Yeah, that's a 2-liter bottle. If I've gotten to the point, I've reached the point in my life where I drink so much diet. Well, like I said, since 1988, and I kid you not, except for 9 months that I went cold turkey and drank water, I have not drunk anything but Diet Coke. It may catch up with me. I don't know, but I've lived the life. So how many years is that? That's 25 years already of that, half my life practically of drinking, of enjoying my soda. Anyway, I've gotten to the point, there are some people that have such a refined palate that they could taste any flavor in wine, or beer, and some people enjoy beer to the point that they can taste the slightest little nuances. To me, I don't like beer, and anything with hops in it tastes the same. However, when it comes to Diet Coke, I kid
Oh,
you not, and I am not joking about this. Mark my words, I can tell you whether it's within a month of its expiration date. I can tell you if it's been overheated by the sun at a gas station. I could
yeah.
tell you whether it came from plastic, whether it came from a bottle, from a glass bottle, or whether it came from a small bottle or a large bottle. There is a distinct taste to every single one of them. And I could likewise tell you whether it came from a fountain drink. And I will tell you right now that while could not discern the proportion, a fountain drink, uh, if it's from the boxes of syrup, it's a 1-to-6 ratio. It's 1 part syrup, 5 parts water. And that's the I know because I bought a fountain drink machine once, and was drinking for a while, with my own carbonation. It was the best ever. However, I will say this about it: if you thought Diet Coke is addicting before, if
Mm-hmm.
you have a fountain drink at your
Mm-hmm.
disposal, uh, my my toilet overfloweth, and the color was white. Was more than clear. 99% of the day. That's all I'll say about that. It was just, I drank so much for that short time, and I saw it that at that point it became dangerous. Because they say X amount of saccharin or whatever causes disease in laboratory rats. Well, of course, because they feed it 10 times its weight. And well, that's what I was coming close to with my little fountain drink experiment. However, I love it. I love it. And
Yeah,
now,
we used to have like these little CO2 canisters,
yeah,
and we mix the syrup in there, and
yeah,
yeah,
I've got my Soda Stream. I bought a Soda Stream
maybe that's what it was called. Yeah, Soda Stream. Yes, yes.
I love it. I love it. I mean, it's fantastic, and there's nothing like it. There's nothing like a carbonated drink.
Mm-hmm.
And I saved a ton of money, but I did and I didn't, because I mean I would buy the large containers of large CO2 canisters.
I would carbonate weird things though. I would
Oh yeah,
carbonate Kool-Aid. I would
yeah.
carbonate
I did the same
orange
thing.
juice.
Lemonade. Yeah,
I would
I do it all the
carbonate.
time, just for fun.
Wait for it. I would carbonate milk. You talk about weird. Oh my gosh.
Yep. Oh man, that's another thing. SodaStream didn't come out what year did SodaStream come out? I think it came out in the 90s. But that was a fun little toy for sodas. But I mean, soda cans also have changed considerably. I mean, you remember the tin cans of the 70's?
The real tin cans, not the aluminum cans.
Real tin can. This is pre-aluminum because of the more you know, fun facts, because of the process of basically the aluminum smelting process was incredibly advanced when they started using electricity in the process. It wasn't just melting and finding aluminum; it was creating aluminum. Not creating aluminum, but refining aluminum. But bottom line is, we became a country that aluminum was cheaper than tin, and at that point, or practically, well, aluminum cans are cheaper than tin cans because you'd had to use so much tin and the processes to keep it from rusting, et cetera, et cetera. And it's absolutely amazing. The technologies I mean, you guys remember the tabs. And I'm not talking about Tab the drink. I'm talking about the pull tabs.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I used to play with pull tabs all day long. We used to do so many things with the pull tabs. You remember when did that come out? When did the non-removable
Or
pull
when did
tab.
it go out, right?
When did it happen? Because it had to happen during the 70s, maybe even 80s. No,
You
no,
know,
70s.
I remember when we used to not have pull tabs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking oh, yeah, yeah. You're talking about the key with
Yeah.
like, yeah, I remember those. Yeah, pull tab necklaces. There's a good one.
Yep. Yep.
Hey,
The,
Chris. Good
the,
evening. Good evening.
the pop tabs were in the 1970s sometimes into the pull tabs, basically.
Yeah, pop
Yeah.
tabs going into the pull
Yeah.
tabs and stuff. Yeah, Alex goes carbonated caldo gallego.
Oh yeah,
that's
carbonated.
that's
There
nasty.
you go. There you go.
That's nasty. That's
I
like
can get with that.
it's basically he's saying carbonated soup, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, 78. That sounds about right. But
Yeah, that's
I'll
about
tell
right.
you, good times, good times. But yeah, I remember vividly those. I still go back to the Cola Wars. It was a it was a big thing for those of us in high school. It was a big thing. I mean, it was like we had it was one of those things that it was a fad and it was popular and you took a side. It was like you either liked Coke or you liked Pepsi. No, yeah, there was the neutral people and the people who didn't care, obviously, but there were some people who, like the politics of today, that they were adamant about it. I mean, like, oh, look, I'm a Coke fan and I love Coke and I think Coke is better than anybody, but I don't think anybody that drinks Pepsi is stupid. And in those times, there were a lot of Coke drinkers who thought Pepsi drinkers were stupid. I mean, just plain dumb. And there was a lot of Pepsi drinkers who thought the same thing of Coke drinkers. It was the funniest thing. Yeah, the Pepsi challenge. And even now, oh, there's one thing that I am so upset about that you would not believe. To this day, I will. It's like if there was a reason for me to give up drinking Diet Coke, this would be it.
What? The Pepsi challenge?
Coke rewards.
Oh yeah.
Coke rewards changing. If there was ever a reason, if it wasn't for the addiction and the fact that I like it so much, it was a tough call. It was a tough call. I came very close to dropping my addiction, to forcing myself out of Diet Coke for that reason. I was so angry, still am to this day. I can't tell you how angry I am. You know what it is that I have? Here it is. I'm not going to show the number just in case because I haven't used this one yet. But every Coke, for those of you that don't play this or don't know this, every Coke product, like the Pepsi Stars and the Pepsi Challenge, every Coke product has a number, has a code, a rewards code. And for the longest, well, what I feel like the longest time, for a long time, they gave away prizes. They gave away gift certificates. I mean, you could buy gift certificates with the rewards.
Who is this? Pepsi or Coke?
Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. You could, and I know it came to some legal matter where it no longer was a sweepstakes. It was like it had to do with some stupid rule. It's all, I don't get me started on cancel culture and stupidity of and the legalities of Americans, which but back then, and we're talking only a few years ago, Coca-Cola or their lawyers, because of their infinite wisdom, idiots, uh, or it all stems. I don't want to call the lawyers idiots because the lawyers are only doing what they have to do because of the idiots that complain about the legalities. So it was whoever complained about it is that I'm very upset at. But
there was
but for giving in and Coca-Cola, I'm upset at them as well. Look, here's the thing: rewards were could be used to buy Coke products like hats and Coke things and all this. Rewards could be used to buy other products. There was a slew of products. You could go to, it was like S&H green stamps. You guys remember S&H green stamps?
Yes.
You could buy anything you wanted from the Coca-Cola catalog, and it would change constantly. It would always change. Sometimes, some little Walkman headsets, you only have to have X many thousand points or whatever. Well, I built up quite a number of thousands of points, and I bought a number of items and stuff and put in a few. Now it's like, oh, enter these reward points for a chance to win at a sweepstakes and this. And I'm a buy it now guy. I'm not an auction guy. I'm not a sweepstake guy. I hate that garbage. And I got so upset that they took away all these products. And in lieu of these products, yeah, you could still get some Coca-Cola stuff from the Coke store or whatever. But in lieu of these products, it was all chances to win and the occasional gift certificate from Amazon. And then they even took those away. I mean, what were they thinking? What were they thinking? I bought 3 times as much Coke as I buy now because of those rewards. Now I only buy what I drink. Before I would drink, I would buy that much more and I would drink that much more. So they did me a favor. They cut my intake by probably double. I used to go through a case at Costco of 32. And whenever I came across a soda machine, I would buy a Coke just to have an extra code because it was only one bottle. Yeah, it was $1 or $2 or whatever, but it was one bottle and it was a code. It was an extra code. Now I go through, I'll be honest with you, I've cut down considerably. For those of you that have seen my other shows before and have seen me drinking Diet Coke on a regular basis way back,
yes,
3 12-packs. I'll go through 36 in an entire week.
A really good point was made out there. Pepsi
I used to go through 32 a day.
Pepsi had enticed users to buy Pepsi points and stuff.
Yeah.
And John out there mentioned that Pepsi was sued because this one guy turned in his points along with a $700,000 check because you could also buy points for a Harrier jet. And actually he didn't get the jet, but that's right. What if I could? John, you're right. That was definitely a big lawsuit. And I think from that point forward, they kept putting a little message underneath, just kidding,
Yeah. And that I understand. I understand that because
people to buy things.
Because honestly, I mean, I kind of see
loyalty program.
I see Pepsi's point of view. Who in their right mind would think that they could possibly buy a Harrier jump jet with X number of points?
Well, apparently this guy kind of challenged him with it.
And he,
yeah.
I get it. I could see it. I could see how it was, but the fact that it was meant to be a joke, people never, as a company, you should never assume that everybody's, that humorous.
I wonder if you get a Harrier jet on Amazon because Pepsi is affiliated with Amazon. Amazon Harrier jet. Let's see, Harrier jet. Let me see if I can buy a Harrier jet on Amazon. I'm not coming up with it, okay?
Now, I will say this, though. I am a fan. I am a very big fan of the companies that offer both Coke and Pepsi. I'm always a fan of those companies.
Yeah,
because I understand there are loyalties. I understand, and I'm certainly loyal to Coke more than I am to anybody, to the Coca-Cola company. Atlanta, Georgia. Where's my Coke hat?
Has anybody ever noticed that you go in certain stores or certain fountains at certain restaurants and you can only get Coke products or Pepsi products?
And you know what I think of? And okay, not to sound snobbish or demeaning or but do you know what I think? But I am. Do you know what I think of the companies that like perfect example. I love Arby's. I love Arby's beef and cheddar. I'm a big fan of Arby's. I understand there are many people who aren't. I am. I love Arby's mainly because their beef and cheddar reminds me of the old Yumbo from Burger King. See the episode on restaurants that we talked about it. But I will never. I will always have my drink with me and never order a drink from Arby's. Never.
Why is that?
Arby's serves Pepsi. And I can't stand Diet Pepsi. You heard me say that. But here's the thing. I will always see Arby's and those restaurants that serve only Pepsi as a cheap store, a cheap restaurant. Reason being, I've worked in the carnival scene for quite a while, and this may not be the case everywhere. Or it may.
Or it may.
But the bottom line is it's cheaper to buy Pepsi than it is to buy Coke. In most cases. I'm generalizing, but it's cheaper to buy Pepsi. Why? Because Coke has the brand recognition and because more people want Coke. So in most cases, a store, when they offer Coca-Cola, is certainly in the case of Arby's, with me, they're going to get a sale with Coca-Cola. They're going to save money on Pepsi, and they're going to lose me as a client, as a drink client for Pepsi. In many cases, some people don't care. Most people don't care. Honestly, most people don't care. But you know what? I view them. I view Arby's. I view people. There's another Kentucky Fried Chicken, I think, was one for a while. There were a few. There were a few companies. McDonald's. Oh my God! Don't get me started. There was a period where I stopped drinking at McDonald's because they switched to Pepsi. And guess what? Apparently, I wasn't the only one because they switched back.
Yeah. Have you ever gone to a place, and there is one here? That has a machine that you walk up to, and it's kind of similar like what John just said there, where they've put these new machines, but this is actually a machine you walk up to. Looks like a Coke dispenser, but has a touch screen on it. You can pick different products and different flavors. Now his is with a phone where you interact with
We've got them in just about every store. Everywhere in Miami.
Right. I want to have some Fanta. I have some Fanta. Not only can I have Fanta cherry, but I can have strawberry, orange, and wait, I can have cream soda. I can have
all of the Coca-Cola products. All the Coca-Cola products. I could have Diet Coke with vanilla, with cherry, with lime, with lemon, with orange, vanilla, with root beer, even with cherry. Yeah, I said cherry. So
I didn't know you could use your phone on it. That'd be cool.
They have the you can mix them all day long. I'm a what's the word? I'm a not naturalist. What's the
Coca-Cola sewer?
No, what's the word when I'm a traditionalist, I guess? No, that's not the word. I'm a what is it when you're stripped down and basic? Naked? No. God. There's a word out there for what I am. Un guajito. It's good evening. What is that? Al, I saw that. Yeah, there's that.
That is Matty.
I mean, Matt. I saw him saying hi, Al, and then
no. This is Al. That's Matt.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Matt, this is for you, Matt.
Purist. Thank you. That's the word. Purist. See, Mitchell's always got our backs.
And Matt, look, no uniform, but I do have this uniform on.
Mitchell's a smart one. She is. So anyway, yeah, I'm a purist, and Diet Coke for me. Yes. Diet Coke. I do occasionally throw in the occasional cherry, or I tried the vanilla, I tried the lemon, I tried the lime. Oh, just something about it. Orange, lemon, and lime. Very healthy to have lemonade. Very healthy to have orange juice and stuff. For some reason or another, it affects my my digestive system very, very poorly. About the only thing I could drink with lemon is Diet Lipton Citrus. It's a very good drink. It's very mild on me, but the rest of them gives me acid when I drink even orange juice, and I love orange juice.
Oh, I love orange juice too.
But so I don't drink it as often. Hey, Diet Coke morning, noon, and night, and by the bedside. Speaking of which, I'm getting down to the ice, but we're getting down to the 11 o'clock hour. So
we are.
Folks, with that, I'll leave you all with a wonderful thought, if I can find one in my head.
How about this one?
Go for it.
Good morning. Hey, it's 10 o'clock. Look. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. We wish you goodbye. Remember, this show is being mentioned or being spoken by two old guys in their 50s and 60s talking about the 70s and 80s. With that, I leave you. Live long and prosper, everyone.
Good night, everyone, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, because next week I will be with my family out of town. So, folks, 2 weeks, and let me quickly give you guys the subject. Al, do you know it off the top of your head? What was
you had to ask. You had to put me on.
Here we go. It is
something about cars.
Cars of the 70s and 80s. Yes, folks, we're going to be talking. We'll talk about things like, do you guys remember when we had two keys for one car? The round GM key and the square GM key. Do you guys remember your license plates from way back when? I certainly do. I got stories of my neighbor, my best friend growing up, Stephen Solomon, and I would walk over to the end, and we would from far away, and he was a master at it. From half a mile away, he could tell you what car it was. Make of cars, usually model. But anyways, so we'll talk a lot about different models, makes, and cars, and all the other stuff along with it. So the gas cap behind the license plate. Yeah, my first car had the gas cap in the license plate and the swivel down there, and the ones in the the Jaguars, I believe, had them in the hood, on the side of the hood. Well, anyway, more on that next week. So, folks, as Al said, live long and prosper. See you guys in 2 weeks. Same bat time, same bat channel. Good night, all.